Does anybody have anything that would interest me, or I'm gonna go do something else?
I think that dream was pretty fucking wild that I had. Kind of spoke on it.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I kind of told you the reason I spoke with well, pretty much everybody, I guess, is I was kind of want to be held accountable and that. But I've never had that. I've never had a dream like that and it come to fruition less than 24 hours later. I've never had a dream like that, period, where there's never. So I feel like I'm taking that as where I'm at and what I'm trying to do, that it's working. God is definitely, because there was a point in my time, I think I told you last night, that I would have took that as, that's who I was, that I need to pursue.
God sent me somebody to eat their pussy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And I know that I'm changing. And it's like I said last night in class, it's little things that add up to bigger things, and then one day, hopefully, I'll be at a place where it's really.
Okay, how are you changing? Not in descriptive ways, but what's the process of that change?
You're gonna have to explain it to me a little bit better than that.
Okay. As many times we think of changing as though it's something we need to do. We need to figure out, we need to work, we need to whatever. And as I understand the change going on in you, it's more about not doing. It's about not figuring out, it's about remembering and resting in the idea that God created me. And the change happens outside of your conscious will many times.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. I mean, like yesterday at the store, and I'm not saying this to be, hey, look at me, but it means something to me. They gave me too much money back. I went in there and I gave them the money back,
You're no longer a convict, are you, baby?
Sometimes I am, But
Yesterday you wasn't.
I'm not saying that, hey, look at me.
No, that's...
But there's some people in this room, like, but I shouldn't let that thought enter my head, but I am right now.
Let them go.
There's motherfuckers in here.
It don't matter. Let them go fund the CROs and the clerks and shit. Clerks need money. That's what they've chosen to do with their life, is to be a battery and a fuel source for the system that they say they hate. So at least in that instance, you chose or whatever to live in a different realm. Because a needy man steals, an afraid man steals. A child of God doesn't have a need for that because God will supply your needs. Right?
Definitely.
So you remembered who you were and acted accordingly. That's not pat me on the back or this, that, or that. That's not bragging even.
I guess the reason I feel that way, because there was in my past, like, I can do this rehab shit real well. I can say shit that makes sense, and but I was doing all that shit for the wrong reasons. I was just doing it just to talk, just to make myself heard. And now, man, I don't really. Sometimes I might speak on something like if we're in a group setting, but it's different now where it's coming from. It's just different, and it's the amount of time that I've been here and that I've been really trying to grasp a hold of just being, how fast it's just, I don't even know how to put it into words. It's different than any other rehab that mindset, it's just different. It's just different. And I've never experienced it before, and I like it. You know, I like it. I like where I'm at right now. Might not always do the right thing, say the right thing, but I'm more aware now than I have ever been.
How much money over was it?
Huh?
How much extra money was it?
$3.36.
Okay. So, and the person at the register probably wouldn't even give shit. Or just
I was just gonna breathe, like,
okay, cool.
blow out.
Okay. I mean, and it's fiat money, it's fake anyway. You know, it's not even real money, it's promissory notes or whatever. And that's exists in that world system. And that's how we buy cigarettes or Skoal or whatever. You know. But you were existing in the eternal realm, and that was priceless. You know?
Yeah,
It's priceless.
definitely.
You know? And whoever's in it, fuck them. Because they don't understand, and you just say, Lord, forgive, Father, forgive them, because they know not what they do. You know? Don't let a retard get in your head. And that some people are ignorant, and ignorance is great because somebody will go, oh, I don't know that. Teach me. Stupid, you can't do nothing about.
Yeah.
And it's not for you to change them anyway. You know, you live in the power of the Creator. Live in who He made you and who He's making you. You know, because once you know, you don't have to argue with retards. You go, oh, it's okay, baby. And you go on. You know. If you're arguing with a retard, you're a retard. So, and that's no judgment against their eternal soul. That's just where they are mentally or spiritually right now. You know. And we always need to remember that we are all retards and falling short of the glory of God at times. And so we try to be a little humble about that. But you don't let people shit in your mouth. You know. Because you also have a right to protect and love that which God has created in you. You know? So, what do you want to say, buddy?
I just have a question right now. It's probably more something I need to talk to you about outside here. But do you believe that there's a meaning behind dreams?
Well, yeah. How many times you seen me do that?
So I'm saying, like, I've been having this recurring dream.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, I've been having a recurring dream since I was 12 years old.
Okay.
And it's, I'll just tell you what it is. I'm walking from a house, I don't know what house it is, and
Walking where?
down the driveway to the mail. And I get about the mailbox, and a car passes my driveway, and a knife comes out the window, like flies out the window, and I don't know, I can't see who's driving the car or anything, but it goes right behind me, like I kind of like ducked out the way, and I turn around and my little boy's on a tricycle behind me and it's stuck in his chest, and there's like, I get this I can't do anything type feeling, and
So when you were 12, you had a dream about your little boy.
yeah, exactly, that's what I'm saying, and
Kills him?
I don't know.
Okay.
I wake up right after that, I feel helpless and I feel like I can't do anything about it, and then I wake up. But the thing is, my youngest son is a little boy on the bicycle. I knew what he was gonna look like before he was born. Like,
Bicycle or
a
tricycle?
tricycle. And I think it's been the same little boy ever since I was 12, and I haven't had it since he was born, but I've had it twice since I've been back here. I had one the night before last night and 2 nights before that.
I wish Stuart would have got his ass in here. What was going on in your life when you were 12?
I had just been adopted by my grandparents
Why?
for insurance reasons. I've lived with them since I was 3 months old
Why?
because my mom couldn't take care of me.
Why?
Because she was super young and super immature.
And what? I mean, there's 14-year-old mamas
I mean,
that handle it. What made your mama not able to handle it?
My grandparents picked me up from daycare one day, or the daycare called my grandparents, and they saw something on my bib and they smelled it was NyQuil. And my mom had been giving me NyQuil since I was brought home from the hospital because she didn't know basically how to deal with me. And she would just give me NyQuil till I fell asleep. And I was living with my grandparents.
And that's your mama's people?
Yeah.
And where's your daddy?
And federal prison.
Why?
He's got 3 attempted murders on 3 police officers in Atlanta. I've only met him 4 times in my whole life.
So how old was your daddy when he knocked your mama up?
He raped my mom when she was 15 in a rehab.
So he was 17, 18, or
He was 18.
he was 18? So your daddy's a rapist
Yeah.
and a attempted murderer person.
Yeah.
Okay. What's that like?
I kind of,
Do you want me not to record this?
you can record it, it's fine.
Okay.
It's I don't know, I feel like my brain blocked a lot of it out, to be honest with you. I mean, I've got mixed feelings, but I didn't know that that's what happened until I was 21 years
Sure,
old.
sure.
They didn't tell me about it. And I found out from my grandma one day, and it was, like, I still didn't know what to think about it. And, like, I still don't really know what my feelings are about it. I mean, I know that I hate him for that, but I also know that I wouldn't be here if that hadn't happened. But,
On a scale of 1 to 100, they at least give you some DNA, right?
yeah.
So it gets a 1.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because you got to give him you got to give him that. He at least was ambitious enough to squirt in your mama's tootie,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And why was your mom in rehab?
For ecstasy. And I'm sure several other things, but that's what I was told.
What was her life like with these people that raised you?
She was adopted 6 days after she was born.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess her mom just didn't.
That would be a cool story to find out, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, she can't.
I mean, do you know your biological people?
Do I?
Where she came from?
No, she doesn't. Her and my Aunt Becky were both adopted because my grandma can't have kids, and so they adopted both of them, and they're 4 years apart. And
Are they related, blood?
nope.
What county?
What county? My mom was born in Huntington Beach, California, but they adopted her in Louisville, Kentucky. And my Aunt Becky was born in somewhere in Virginia, and they also went through Louisville, Kentucky.
How'd they find them?
I have no idea.
Do your grandparents have money?
Yeah.
And where were you raised?
I was raised in Atlanta.
Atlanta. What does your grandparents do? How did they get all that money?
My granddad, well, he started off working at Eastern Airlines and Northwest Airlines. He was pretty far up in that, and then he created the computer system that's in an F-22 Raptor fighter jet.
Oh, okay.
And copyrighted it and sold it to Lockheed Martin and Boeing. So, yeah.
So he ain't laying bricks and shit.
No.
So they would have had access
Yeah.
to whatever system it was that was producing
Whatever they needed to do.
children.
Yeah.
So your mama grew up not without roots, kind of, too,
Yeah.
as far as you know?
Pretty much.
Who's your baby mama? I don't know the name, just what's she about?
What's she about? Well, I've got two different ones. One lives in Destin, Florida, and the other one lives in Charleston, South Carolina.
What are they like?
The one in Florida, she's awesome. She's couldn't pick a better woman to have my child. The one in South Carolina, she's kind of out there.
You didn't rape her in rehab, did you?
No.
Okay.
Better at a music festival in Las Vegas.
Did she rape you in rehab?
Probably. Yeah,
And how old are you, baby?
28.
28. What have you been doing with yourself the last 8 years, 10 years?
Nothing. Selling dope.
Oh yeah, Bitcoin stuff and such. And there's no identifying stuff on this film, so, and I don't want to get into all that, really. So you and I have some stuff in common in terms of we think the system's full of shit.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I think the law is probably perfect,
Yeah,
but the execution of it is not,
right.
you know. I think there are a lot of ignorant people that execute those things.
For self-benefit, I feel like, somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, part of it's their training, part of it, I mean, they don't get trained in the law,
Yeah, you're right.
you know,
You start a job, you're trained to do something one way, but it's really supposed to be another way, that's why you're gonna do it.
so in no way am I'm not going to do the thing I did, I'm not going to upload the thing I did yesterday, but in no way am I trying to incite some kind of anti-law thing. You know. But politically, culturally, even in families, sometimes we grow up seeing the hypocrisy of authority. Anybody ever done that? With your mom and daddy,
Yeah.
whatever? Do this because I say, not do what I say, not what I do.
Yeah.
And that goes from the little microcosm to the big macrocosm. And many times creates a rage in us. You've had some experience with this, I believe. You know. And your behind was raped pretty good. You know. Okay, so we got a little boy. You were 12, huh? And remind me what was going on at 12?
The only major thing was that when I was 11, I was adopted by my grandparents, that's about it.
So your mama had been raising you, but your grandparents...
She was around.
She was around.
She came by, she stayed at the house, you know what I'm saying, whenever she wanted to, but I lived with my grandparents since I was 3 months old.
Okay, because of the NyQuil stuff.
Yeah. And then they adopted me basically so I could have really good insurance.
Okay. And they had some responsibility for you too. And you were a male. First born son.
Yeah.
Is this your firstborn son we're talking about in this story? Second? Well, crap on that. And you feel helpless, you say?
Yeah, it was just like there was nothing that I could do. And then I turn around, I see there's nothing I can do, and it's probably the most helpless I've ever felt in my life. I've never felt helpless like that in real life. But then I wake up. Like I've never made it past that point in the dream. Sometimes it doesn't even get to that point in the dream. Like I'll be going to turn around and see the front tire of the tricycle and then I'll wake up. But majority of the time, it's just to the same point and then I wake up. And usually when I wake up, it's like right when I'm supposed to wake up in the morning.
Now, how old do you think the child in the dream is?
He's younger than my little boy is right now. So he just turned 3, so he's got to be...
Just old enough to ride a tricycle,
Yeah.
whatever age that is. child that age, just tell them to go away. Y'all, you need to leave. Bye.
Just take a picture, just took a, all right.
Bye, just go. Because big boys pee before it starts. Okay. And your mama say before you went on trips, anybody need to go to the bathroom? Okay. Anyway. How do you feel about that little boy? Can you become that little boy for a minute?
They try.
Okay, just breathe, close your eyes. Tell me what he was thinking riding his tricycle. What was going on?
He was following his dad to the mailbox.
And what's that like for him?
Awesome.
What makes it awesome?
That he's doing stuff with his dad. Yeah.
What's he want?
He can't ride his bike without me. I mean, I'm there, so he took advantage of that and wanted to ride his bike.
Was he showing off a little bit? Was he just...
I never saw him actually pedaling the bike. I never,
But you're him. So
oh, okay.
what does he want? What does he want and what makes it fun
Showing
for
me that he
him?
can do it. He can ride a bike by himself.
So he's proud of himself?
Right.
And what's he thinking about his daddy?
I guess he wants him. Guess he wants to make him proud. Yeah.
Is he feeling safe because his daddy's there?
Yeah. Thinking like, look what you showed me how to do, and I can do it. But like, you have to tell me how to do it anymore.
He's all proud. Have you heard me do the dream stuff before?
I think so one time.
Okay.
But
Well, a good way to understand it, it's not the only way, it's just a way, is that all the different parts of the dream are split off parts of you. You know, because your soul created and made all this, and in that it's recurring, it's fairly important and probably shows some kind of pattern in here. You know, so the little boy, the lost boy, is you on some level, and then that's why I wish Stuart was here. We were talking yesterday about how these patterns flow. And if nothing else, I don't know where we're going to go with this before it's over, but you may want to get off somewhere by yourself after a while and write a letter to that little boy in the dream. Okay? What would you tell him right now?
sorry,
For what?
not being able to chase you.
What are you feeling right now? Or did you go to your head? Did you go to your head?
Yeah.
Okay. Try to ease on back down there, buddy. It'll be all right. Okay. I ain't gonna let nobody throw no knife at you. Let it out, baby. Breathe. Let whatever's in there rise on up. Tell him how you feel.
I don't even know how to put it in words.
So you remember yesterday I was talking about if it ain't in our face, we can't fix it. This is good. Okay? I mean, it's not fun, it sucks, big ones, but, or it feels that way. But the change you want is in that. Facing it, understanding it, realizing that that's not you. That's part of the program, part of the pattern. Because there's a sense in which you didn't protect the little boy that you are. You put him in jeopardy over and over and over again. Right?
All the time.
And nobody else did that except you. So in some ways, this is about your biological son. It's also about how you treat yourself. Does that make any sense?
Makes complete sense.
And in a lot of ways, you abandoned him. You know, being raised by somebody else. Does that make sense? Okay. But the path, baby, is not to just go fix your relationship with your biological son. Because if you don't do this first thing, it'll end up being the same stuff. It's not just learn some scriptures, learn some of the behaviors, learn some, you've done that more than once. You learn the right words to say, and I love Jesus and whatever. Right? Because you know you're so full of shit, your ears fart, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, at least on the outside.
Yeah.
But on the inside, there's a little boy that you let get killed. His innocence, his trust, his... You need to leave. Go. Go, bye. Bye. Bye.
You need me to leave?
Not you, you're on staff.
I didn't need to do this, I wasn't here.
He just got back from court.
I don't care.
Okay.
You know, it's y'all, why do we make, it's very simple. Be here or don't. It's not, why are we trying to negotiate that? It's very simple. And because being there interrupts this shit. And this is very important. It's a tiny bit more important than volleyball. Or what's for lunch.
Like you showed me the picture of your son the other day, and y'all look like dead alive. So I'm assuming y'all look like y'all were little. It's possible that you weren't the one walking from the mailbox, that you were the kid on the tricycle.
And they're very popular.
What's going on right now with you?
I've got the rest of this 90 days,
Mm-hmm.
like in my,
Right now.
right now. Trying to figure out,
What are you feeling? Figuring out ain't gonna help you, baby.
like, shit.
You're warm and kind of soft.
Pretty much, yeah. So
when did you have that dream again?
Once the night before last night, and then 2 days before that. And that was the first time I had it in like 3 years.
Well, my guess is that your thought process and actions were going to lead you right down the same road you've been on. You understand me? You're doing your 90 days. again. And that little boy, your soul, God, however you want to think about it, was trying to say you're doing the same shit. Trying to give you a warning, some information, something, because it came up you didn't plan it. If that is so, can you observe yourself doing the same old shit since you've been here in some ways?
Yeah.
How so?
You mean like since I've been,
This time, yeah. You've been here 3 weeks or so?
yeah, 2 weeks. Not since I've been back here this past 2 weeks, but when I was at the transition house, I definitely could.
Like the first day.
Yeah.
And y'all's little video clips and shit.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
We beat the man again. Woo, woo.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
That was the start of it.
But that was how you did that 90 days. You blew smoke up your ass, and as soon as you left, you were back right where you were. Right? I'm not trying to convince you.
I was clean and all that before I got here. Up until about 2 weeks before I got kicked out of the transition house, I've been clean for 30 months. 31 months, actually.
But apparently not, because this dream's still there.
Yeah.
Clean's not the issue,
Yeah.
you know.
Mentally, I wasn't right at all. I feel like the more I tried to make myself believe that I was okay mentally, it got worse. I just had to keep covering up stuff to myself, and eventually I believed that I was alright when I really wasn't.
You covered up a murder.
Yeah.
That you had done to yourself. In some way. Right?
Yeah, I didn't want to believe that I had everything that I had going on, I did myself.
It's what somewhere in the Old Testament talks about the sins of the fathers, and I'm going to include the mothers because I'm not a misogynist,
Yeah.
are visited down on 3 and 4 generations. And these patterns, emotional patterns, we absorb because that's the little universe we're programmed in. And the only way out of them is to go look at them, feel them. Because you were there, you stayed in that place about 22.5 seconds out of 28 years. Consciously, anyway.
Yeah.
Because up until this time, the only way you could go there was your soul forced you to see it in a dream. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Is this feeling condemning or hopeful?
Hopeful now that I can see it for what it is and not just playing a guessing game every time it happens.
And again, it's not punishment, it is the way out. The thing you're running from contains the door to your freedom. There ain't no other way. And I'm serious about trying to get to a place in your head, in your heart, where you can have a conversation with the little boy. But not as your son, but as you. You know. What did the mailbox contain? Be the mailbox.
I never got
I know, people.
Just daily mail,
Information, money, bills,
whatever.
just day-to-day stuff. Taking care of business.
It could have held something else that I didn't know it was in there. I just never
I know. What's it like being in the mailbox? It's just breathe.
Routine, I guess. That makes sense. Weighted down.
It's your connection to the outside world.
Yeah.
You're rooted solid in the ground. Was it black or white, or did it have little flowers on it? Or
No, it was black with a red Georgia G on it.
red what?
Georgia G.
Georgia G.
Yeah.
Go Dogs or whatever.
That's third.
I don't know, but it feels like that. It's your connection to the outside world and inattention to what's behind you.
Yeah.
Somehow. Maybe.
Could be.
As you were going to do business and forgot the business back here.
Right.
Okay. Be the person in the, was it a Nissan with curb finders on it? The black windshield
I have no idea what kind of color it
with
was.
17 spinners and shit. Maybe that for a minute.
Yeah.
And try not to do it in your head. Not from here anyway, back here. What was their intent, you think? What was your intent as that perpetrator?
To get me. Somehow I skated by again.
And kill the thing you love the most?
Yep.
So somehow your interaction with the outside world stuff, doing business, put that which is most precious to you in jeopardy and killed it, or at least stabbed it,
Right.
right? You feel it now?
Yeah. Put myself on the back burner. Put stuff that isn't as important as myself.
Because yesterday he honored himself. Who gives a fuck about $16.13? Nobody. And it'd been real easy to go off.
Yeah.
It's another half a pack of real cigarettes, you know.
Yeah.
But for one of the first times in his life, or a few times in his life, he honored the little boy. So does that make sense? Yeah. What does that make you feel and think now, thinking about it that way? And try to feel it, baby, back here.
I mean, what do you mean?
I don't know what's going on with you. Is your mind racing now, or what's?
Yeah. Just trying to see all the things I've put before myself that I still put before myself, that I don't realize that I put before myself. That in my mind were more important at the time for whatever the goal was that I was trying to achieve. And can't do that. I mean, I know it's not going to change right now.
It already has. But again, like what I was talking about with him, the change is not for you to do. The change comes as you allow it to happen. And honor the little boy that just wants to make somebody proud. And to feel like, look at me, look at me. Because my guess is some of your outside activities have been about, look at me.
Yeah.
See how cool I am, see how good I ride my tricycle, see how good I can go on the, what is it? The black net and whatever, you know.
Yeah.
what's that called, something, Silk Road, something? You know, preachers knew about that shit, didn't you? You know. I still got papers saying I'm a preacher, so that makes it all right. Yeah. And somehow, the same impulse that the little boy in the dream had is the impulse that you still have, because it's still you. You were just trying to do it outside, in the work or whatever. And it ended up killing off or putting at jeopardy the thing that's most precious, which is who God created you to be. So yeah, I think dreams mean something. You done? Is that enough for today? Okay. Go have a conversation with that little boy. You know? All those things you felt, because you are sorry. You were scared, you were confused, you didn't know till today. And a lot of the quote temptations you may or may not have from this point on, it shouldn't be a huge battle. It's just, who do you love more? And remember that you forgot and breathe. I mean, was that a huge battle of what you should? I mean, if it had been 1,000, 1,500, it might have been a little more of a temptation, or was it?
I mean, it wasn't. There's some things that I don't think about, you know, as far like when it comes to me. I don't break it down like I do something. Like there's something like yesterday that when it came to me, like no, I'm gonna do it right. You know, it just.
So it wasn't even a real. Just stay with that one, yeah. Because I mean, you didn't have to go and sweat and pray and.
No, I mean, I still lose, like, I lose my temper a little bit.
What?
That's the only thing as far as decision-wise, but everything else I'm seeing in my decision-making is really not, it just comes to me I do the right thing in the right moment, without even thinking about it, you know? Like, this is just recently started happening. I mean, where I'm not really thinking about it, but after I made the decision and I try to, like, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't want to sound like I'm just trying to talk.
No, that's fine. Because it's, I mean, it even says that the Holy Spirit, just don't chill out. The Holy Spirit will lead you into what to say.
There you go.
It's not, I figured all this shit out. It's back in here. It's in the pocket. You a drummer?
No.
You know music?
Barely.
You know the difference between in the back of the pocket and the front of the pocket with drummers?
No, sir.
Metallica. That's front of the pocket. You know.
Can you do that one more time?
I'm not talented enough to do it with one foot, so I have to have 2 feet to do that. I'm still mad at my daddy's shit. So, the back of the pocket's more like Parliament Funkadelic. Boom, boom, boom. You know. And for me, if I'm anxious, if I'm thinking, it's more trying to figure shit out. Because to stay in the back of the pocket, you can't be thinking about it or you'll mess it up. And a lot of our decisions, most of our decisions are done impulsively. Even when we think, we plan, then time for the decision comes, we just do something. Right or wrong?
Right.
especially as addicts.
Just, everybody in the fucking world is an addict.
Yeah,
Some of it you just don't go to jail for.
yeah.
If you're a 69-year-old woman shopping for CVC at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's the same spiritual mental process. You don't, that's, because part of the trap is think you get a special t-shirt because you were addicted to drugs. You don't. You don't get no special excuses. You don't, it's all the same shit.
Yeah,
You know?
that's bullshit. Yeah.
I mean, we're addicted to the government. We're addicted to TV. We're addicted to somebody else programming our mind and making us mad at these people or these people and
College football.
whatever. And there's nothing wrong with college football in a moral sense. But if it becomes the most important thing in your life, you might as well be smoking crack. It's the same shit. You know, like I said the other day, some folks say roll tide, like Pentecostals say hallelujah. It's the same shit. Ooh, I feel good. Woo! Hallelujah, I roll tide. Praise Saban, the second coming of Christ. I mean, some people's lives, that's centered around that.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
And which is fine. Some folks' lives are centered around being see how good I am, and I know how to navigate the Silk Road on the black internet or whatever. Because that becomes a culture and almost a religion. The center of one's life, and it's an illusion too. Hell, it's just chemicals you put in your body.
So I want to ask a question. You were talking about him, and me and him are similar in the fact that he doesn't know the side of his family. Like, he doesn't know this, you know. So I'm similar in the fact that, you know, my father, I carry his last name, but I wasn't raised by him. I wasn't. Yeah, I've seen him one time in 29 years, or no, 26 years. And, you know, he's still on crackhead. He's a 1.5-legged crackhead.
So he hops.
My granddaddy shot him 9 times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's like the last update that I got.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know that side.
Your granddaddy's a bad shot.
Yeah, he told my aunt, he said if I'd have had my damn glasses on, I'd have killed him.
Well, he wasn't shooting like that, was he?
I don't know how you shoot.
When you got to hold your britches up and shoot like that.
I imagine he was asleep in the bed.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't want nothing to splatter on him, huh?
No, my dad was trying to steal his gun.
Oh, I thought your daddy was asleep in the bed.
No, he broke into my grandfather's.
Okay. So what was the point, Lou?
Just, you told him that he might want to check into finding that, you know, not where his lineage is, where he, you know. Is that something that's necessary?
No.
Is it
I was just fishing when I said that. Don't take it
You
to...
think it's, how helpful can it be and how hurtful can it be is when you said that, because I'm thinking, you know, I deal with that. I struggle with that. Because, I mean, my son has a last name, and I have a last name that I don't know who the fuck we are. I mean, I know who I am. But, you know, it's only, you know what I'm saying?
Well, baby.
That bothers me, it does.
Okay. Well, why don't you think about this? I'll be your spiritual daddy, okay? Okay? Because I am.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. You know? And what I'm telling you, boy, listen to me, baby, is you make that name mean whatever you want it to mean. And that's the legacy your son will have. Okay?
Yeah. Sure.
You teach your son what I taught you. And say, help him get free. Just when I was talking to him about that, I was just fishing to see, because I didn't know what we were doing. Okay.
So should you just leave the past in the past?
Until it if it comes up, do it. In the moment right now.
What the fuck do you mean if it comes up? I mean,
If it becomes, if you can't sleep at night from not knowing, if you can let it go, it's just, it's in the past anyway. There's something, you know. If you start having dreams about it or something, or,
No, I don't have dreams about
you
that.
know,
Just start hearing about the two little girls. Yeah, exactly.
no, but there's nothing to do necessarily, unless if it presents itself, then do that. If it's not an issue, don't worry about it. It's like burps. I mean, some people can swallow air and make themselves burp, but like real burps come up when they're ready.
Yeah.
If some of this spiritual or emotional, psychological stuff starts coming up, then address it. Just address what's there. You know? Because a great metaphor for this is digestion.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
I'm still chewing.
Yeah, you chew, you swallow, you shit when it's time. But you don't eat lunch and then go, you gotta wait a minute till it's ready. And you burp or, you know, and then,
Well, that's where, I mean, that's where I knew, I mean, where the thought process that I was on my head, but I mean, I guess I needed my spiritual day to put his boy in his place.
and I mean, and I don't mean that, you know, I don't mean that as though I'm anybody.
No.
I just happened to do that because you were here.
Yeah.
And,
know.
you know, because I ain't. Because Jesus said, don't call nobody daddy. You know?
Yeah.
But you understand what I mean by
I know
that.
exactly what you're saying.
You know?
I know exactly.
I didn't fuck nothing to give you birth, so. So, yeah. But your story's all our story. Just a little different, right?
Definitely.
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 What were you thinking about all this?
My dad died when I was young, and I watched him suffer through Alzheimer's, and I repressed a lot of those things and wondered how my life would be different, and started doing things to forget about it and numb it. And I can't really relate to having the dream, but I can relate to having those repressed memories. And sometimes, like when he was talking, I was getting teary-eyed just because he was bringing up my emotions and old feelings that I haven't felt in a long time. And that's a lot of the reason I think I use it, just to, of course everybody uses, well, a lot of people use to make pain go away, but and now I'm kind of going through the same thing with my mom. And I don't know, I guess I can just relate to how he's feeling, especially when he was talking about putting, I guess, the little boy that was important, putting that person away and doing other things that we know we shouldn't be doing. And I don't know, when I should have been learning and going to school and going to college and becoming an adult, instead I ran from that responsibility and ran from that type of thing to do things I shouldn't be doing, and selling drugs, partying, stealing, just whatever I want.
So the little boy never grew up. Is that
I
what you're
don't
saying?
reckon. I don't
No,
know.
that's what you.
That's what it feels like sometimes, for real.
And he didn't grow up because nobody fathered him. And in the end, we all have to father ourselves. We have to go back and what's your name?
Hank.
What'd they call you when you was a boy? Hank. You had to go look at little, because you were probably used to be cute, you know. Right?
Right.
And kind of innocent and
Yeah.
chasing after your daddy on a tricycle, you know. And And in some ways, you basically told him, fuck you, little bitch. You make me uncomfortable. And go make friends with him. Whatever that means or however, there's some things you could do. But it's, and don't take it too literally, because I'm not being literal. And don't be surprised if you start having dreams. And you may want to pay attention to them. Because you've made a progression from back yonder to up here. So something's going on.
When we have this.
It's fine. I don't even know if I'm going to publish it or not. I have to listen and see. Because it's kind of private stuff. But the ego part of the dream doesn't have as much information. Because we recognize ourselves there. In the ego part. The helpful part of the dreams is that which we don't recognize as ourself. But it is because ourself produced it. So in some way, somehow, you are that little seductress that leads a man away from where he needs to be.
Do what now?
Didn't that woman in the dream
Yeah, but
just...
lead what man? I ain't leading no man nowhere.
It's not about being homo, baby. That's not what I'm talking about.
Well, okay.
We'll talk about that private, okay? Our soul is male and female. Our body, even men, go through cycles.
Of what?
Testosterone, just like women, and estrogen.
Yeah.
It's feminine. The tender parts of you are feminine.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have a vagina. Anyway, don't worry about it. It's just something. But probably if you start unpacking that dream or have other dreams, there's a lot more information in there for you than just a warning from the Holy Spirit or whatever. Which it was, and it's good, and that's a cool recognition that you have. Because you went from what you said, from used to you to taking that as a sign from God that this is the woman for you.
One of my dreams.
Yeah, like literally.
And now you're going, oh, it's not permission, it's a warning. Because the result of that is me leaving Turning Point. Right? And that's good. There's multi-layers and all kinds of stuff and all that stuff. It's not. And if I say anything and you go no, then it's not true. Because all you're looking for is when your soul's going, yes. It's not that I've said anything different, it's that you recognize that to be so. I'm not giving anybody any new information. Everything we did up here, you went, or no. And I just ask questions, and every once in a while something will go, oh shit. Oh. And your soul, whoever you are, recognize that as true. Not because I'm smart, because I ain't.
Damn sure don't look smart.
I ain't. If I was smart, you think I'd be here with y'all's ass?
Maybe.
Oh. And don't worry about folks that don't agree with you, they don't understand. They're the munchkins. And that don't make them bad. If I was them, I'd feel the same way. I would think the same way. Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. Because the little boy, that's who you're loyal to or not. When somebody else's opinion matters to me, many times I'm being disloyal to myself because I'm afraid.
Yeah.
that make sense to you? And it's not about being a good boy or a bad boy. It's about being who God made you. You know? Because even David the gangster was a man after God's own heart. You know? And he suffered a lot of consequences for being a gangster. His whole family went, you know. Yet somehow in the grace of God, things continued on. You know. And I think it was really cool insight that you discovered when you're being you already know what to do. You don't have to figure out. You don't have to go right or wrong, good or bad. You just do what.
You don't struggle with it. Like there's not a struggle there.
And there's nothing wrong with being angry. You know. Paul said, "Be angry, yet do not sin." And sinning has to do with, as we talked about a month or two ago, forgetting that we are of the Creator. And we forget who we are when we throw fits. Sinning is about not living in and agreeing with the idea, the truth that I didn't make myself. You know? Even because I squirted out of that woman's vagina, she didn't make me. You know? And crackhead daddy or whatever, he didn't make none of the sperm that he squirted in your mama. Ultimately, you know. And who you are biologically, spiritually, and emotionally has a source other than the world. Ultimately. And people can come against you, the world can come against you, and we typically get trapped when we get out of ourselves. Jesus went out in the desert. It was the first thing he did after he got baptized. And he looked the devil in the eye, and the devil was fucking with him. And the end of that story is that the devil, Satan, found nothing in him. He couldn't hook him. And Jesus sets a pattern of going, well, that's what you say, but this is what God says. You know, about the bread and doing the magic tricks and flying and all that stuff. And it's probably possible, I guess. You know, I guess Jesus could have been like a, what's them little flying squirrel? You know, or Neo, or on the Matrix, or. And Jesus basically said, I'm not part of the magic. I live in the real world that God made. And that's kind of, as I think about Jesus, that's all he's ever did was to go, that's what y'all say, but this is who I am. You know, that's what y'all say, but this is who I am. He was dealing with the retards, the scribes and the Pharisees, that had gone a long way from the law, natural law of God, into usury and making people slaves. To the point that even when they came to the temple, they had to go change their money for interest. You know? And Jesus got mad and whooped their ass. And then they killed him.
That's what started it. Was that in the temple? You're right.
Well, see, it's like
going on, but that's what really just.
yeah, that was you can't abide that. Start messing with the evil money. And there's nothing wrong with real money. It's handy. You know, we can trade a rock for 14 goats because it's hard to pack 14 goats in your billfold. You know, that's fine. But the issue with the love of money or the worship of money or the money is my God thing, that's in the beast system, in the world system. And he would just say, no, this is who I am. That's what you say, but this is who I am. That's what he said to the scribes and the Pharisees and the governor, Pilate, and King Herod, and all of them. Because King Herod said, oh, come dance, monkey boy, do some tricks for me. Do your little Jesus magic. You know, that'd be fun. You know, they didn't want to go out that night to the what's it? Fuck, what's the name of it? It's not The View. It's where they do it's the gay bar in Birmingham. What's the name of it?
Quest.
Yeah, they didn't feel like doing the quest tonight, so they got Jesus in for a private party, you know. That's all that was about. And then wasn't it Herod's wife had a dream? And said, you better leave this dude alone. And Jesus said he was the firstborn of many brethren. You know? And Jesus' brethren began to learn, to grow up in the idea that that's what y'all say, but no, this is who I am. And that's what Paul did. They don't put people in jail for preaching religion. They put people in jail for believing what they're talking about. Because if you are a child of God, then Caesar don't own you. And Caesar can't afford for that message getting out. Okay? That's why Paul, if we had YouTube right now, Paul would be one of the Montana freedom fighter guys who are standing on God's law and telling Caesar no, that they're not shooting people, they're not threatening to shoot people or that kind of stuff. They're standing on their understanding of God's law, saying no, this is who we are. We don't agree with what you say. You know, and the criminal complaints against them are all paper. They hadn't gone shot nobody, raped nobody, stole nothing. But Caesar don't want that getting out. It ain't changed ever.
No, that just repeats itself over and over.
And Paul got thrown in and out of jail, thrown in and out of jail. I can imagine Paul on YouTube instead of writing letters. Going, remember who you are. Why y'all fighting about all this crap? Why do I have to keep going over the ABCs with y'all? Get off the milk. We should be eating some meat by now, boys, some steaks and taters. And we keep going round and round and round the same old circle. You know? I mean, if you read the New Testament with a current context in mind, in my opinion. Not something that happened long ago and we're just supposed to believe. Because if God is not current and active in our experience of the world system, then it's all a fairy tale anyway. In my opinion. And you might as well just, whatever. You know. Because if there is no freedom, if there is no truth, if there is none of this, then all this is retarded and we ought to just go. You know. I believe it's true. And I'm in the process of knowing it. You know. Because if there's a God, there is a system that belongs to the beast. It's all got to be true, and none of it's true. Right?
Right.
Okay. And you don't even have to fight the power, because that's a trap too. As soon as you start fighting the power, they're going to get some CIA agents in a tower and shoot people at a country concert. Or whatever the hell that's about. You know. Because if they really wanted to protect us from terrorists, they'd make sure everybody was trained and armed. You know? Because if everybody's armed, then the terrorists would go to Canada. In my opinion. You know. So y'all, let's get out of the Facebook crowd. And understand that if you want the world to change, it has to start in here. And once you begin to change, the world's already different, baby. You've already changed the world this morning. hopefully you've started a path and you're going out not knowing where you are going like Abraham. And that's what reckons you righteous. It's what made David a man after God's own heart. Is that he let go trying to figure all this stuff out. You know. Because Abraham's crazy, baby. So you be crazy too. Be crazy like Abraham.
Didn't they just dance naked in the street?
Oh yeah, and which is against the law.
Yeah.
He broke the law. He's
He was dancing naked in the street and enjoying the Lord.
And his little pecker was flopping and stuff. And just, woo! And all them women's going, you don't be looking at that. And some of the sweet boys was doing that too. God bless them. All right, bye.
Bye.